Hey everyone, and welcome! Today, we're unlocking the door to one of the most exciting pharmaceutical markets on the planet. We're going to take a look at the strategic journey from Bangladesh all the way to Brazil. And let me tell you, it's a journey that's absolutely packed with opportunity, but you've got to know how to navigate it. So let's dive right in.
You know, it all really boils down to this one question. How does a simple pill, manufactured in Dhaka, find its way to a patient thousands of miles away in São Paulo? It sounds simple, right? But the answer is this incredible story of ambition, high-level strategy, and figuring out how to navigate a really complex but super rewarding landscape.
Okay, so first things first. Why Brazil? What is the big prize here? What makes this market so attractive that it's worth all the effort? Well, as you're about to see, the scale of this opportunity is, well, it's massive. It all starts with this number right here. Over 200 million people. We're not just talking about a country. This is practically a continent-sized market. That's an enormous consumer base with a huge and growing need for top-quality healthcare. And, of course, that huge population means Brazil is the single biggest pharmaceutical market in all of Latin America. You've got this universal public healthcare system on one hand and a booming private sector on the other. So the demand for medicine, it's constant, it's stable, and it's substantial. And here's the kicker. Here's why this is such a perfect match. Bangladesh is ideally positioned to grab this opportunity. I mean, we're talking about a seriously advanced industry with WHO-compliant facilities, an industry that's already trusted in more than 150 countries around the world. It's a sector that is absolutely ready for its next big frontier.
But look, any great expedition needs a good map. Before you can even think about the prize, you have to understand the terrain. And the very first and most important landmark on that map is Brazil's powerful regulatory gatekeeper.
So let me introduce you to Anvisa. That's the Brazilian Health Regulatory Agency. Now, it's really important to see Anvisa not as some kind of barrier, but as a guardian of quality. Their job is to make sure every single medicine that enters the country is safe and effective. Getting their seal of approval is the absolute non-negotiable first step to getting into this market. All right, on to the next major feature on our map. Brazil's tax system, which is, let's just say, famously complex. If Anvisa is the gatekeeper standing at the front gate, then the tax code is kind of like the dense jungle you have to navigate to make sure your journey is actually profitable. And you can see right here why it gets so complicated. It's not just one tax, it's a stack of them, one on top of the other. You start with the import duty, then you add the IPI tax, then PIS/COFINS, and finally, the state-level ICMS. Each layer builds on the one before it. And believe me, getting this calculation right is absolutely crucial if you want to price your product competitively. Okay, so we've got the terrain mapped out. Now it's time to actually prepare for the expedition. This isn't a trip you can just start on a whim. It needs a detailed, careful, strategic blueprint. So let's break down the essentials. Now, if there's one thing you take away from this, it should be this. You cannot do this alone. Success in Brazil demands a strong partnership. And this chart breaks down the roles perfectly. The Bangladeshi exporter, you focus on what you do best, world-class manufacturing, quality assurance, and providing all the technical data. Your Brazilian partner, they're your expert on the ground. They handle the Anvisa registration, navigate the local tax system, and manage distribution. It's a true symbiosis. Think of this as your essential pre-launch checklist. First, you need absolutely impeccable technical dossiers for Anvisa. Second, you need a smart product strategy. Don't just bring everything. Focus on where you have a real edge. Third, everything, and I mean everything, has to be in Portuguese. And finally, remember that landed cost model we talked about? Building that with your local partner is maybe the most important step of all. The really good news is that there are so many Bangladeshi companies that already have the manufacturing power and the export experience to make this journey. So let's meet a few of the industry champions who are really well positioned to lead the charge here. First up, you've got Square Pharmaceuticals, the nation's largest producer. These guys bring incredible scale and a super diverse portfolio to the table. They're a formidable player no matter what market they decide to enter. Then, of course, there's Beximco Pharma. They're recognized all over the world because they've successfully exported to some of the most highly regulated markets out there, like the US and the UK. They know exactly what it takes to meet the highest standards of compliance. And you absolutely can't forget Incepta. They are a leader in high-tech products. We're talking complex areas like vaccines, biosimilars, sterile injectables. That kind of specialization is a huge advantage in a competitive market like Brazil.
All right, let's talk about the final and maybe the most crucial piece of this entire puzzle. Think about it. You would never try to climb Mount Everest without a Sherpa, right? Well, you don't have to navigate Brazilian trade all on your own either. There is an ally ready to be your guide.
And that guide is the Brazil-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or BBCII. Just listen to their mission statement. Their entire reason for being is to build the bridge between these two countries, which makes them the perfect guide for this whole expedition.
And this isn't just talk. Here's exactly how they help. The BBCCI provides real, tangible support. They connect you with the right distributors, they help you get past the language barrier, and they give you the market intelligence you need to make smart calls. They basically help de-risk the entire process of entering the market.
So, when you get right down to it, joining the chamber isn't just about networking or going to meetings. It's a strategic move. It's about opening a gateway that gives your company the credibility and the connections you need for long-term, sustainable success in Brazil.
So there you have it. We've mapped the terrain, we understand the challenges, and we've identified the allies who can help. The path, while it's definitely demanding, is clear, and the support system is in place. So the only real question left is this: is Brazil the next great chapter in the incredible success story of Bangladeshi pharmaceuticals? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.